What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I know it has been a while since I uploaded, but I'm going to get into that in another video. For this video, we want to talk about one thing and one thing only, and that is my progression in competition. Before we do that though, I want to introduce you guys to someone that's real awesome. Wilfred, come here. Wilfred, come here. So, I got a sausage dog. His name's Wilfred. He's so cute. He's like 4 months old and he's got a bunch of fur on his feet. What is this? What are you got on your feet? Cobwebs. He's the cutest little sausage. Look at him. Don't you just love him? Aww. Alright, put you down. Alright. Yeah, so he's the new addition. He's absolutely beautiful. He's the cutest little thing ever. Let's get into what this video is all about right now. Alright, so let's jump into what this video is all about. Right now it's like super cold in Melbourne. We're going into winter, so I'm wearing like a hoodie. It's freezing, it sucks. There is going to be riding clips and everything in this video, so stay tuned. It's not just going to be me talking the whole time. It's going to be dope. You're going to love it. I've seen a lot of people really did love my 10-year progression video, so I thought why not make something kind of similar but that highlights a different side of my riding. So what I decided to do today is to make a 5-year progression video on my competing. I'm going to date back a little bit past 5 years just to give you guys kind of like an outlook on how it started and how competitions came about for me. I competed in my first ever competition when I was probably like 14 years old, I believe. It was just like a YMCA comp at Frankston Skate Park. I actually entered straight into the open division and placed first, which is awesome. I guess kind of from then I wanted to compete more, and then eventually as time went on, the ISA came about, what you guys now know to be, you know, ISA Worlds. Back then we didn't have anything like that. It just kind of slowly came in place, and now it is what it is. It's absolutely awesome. So we're going to talk about that really quick, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of highlights. So let's date back to about 2013, 2014. Obviously now we're in 2019. Back then when I was competing, I really didn't have so much of a passion for competing. I was much more of like a video writer. I loved making edits and videos. I didn't really have so much fun competing. I just more like to hang out with my friends, ride with my friends, and work on edits for long periods of time. Like my previous web edit, I literally worked on for I think 2 years, and that came out absolutely awesome. I'd love to do it again someday, but right now my focus just isn't there, and that is the reason that, you know, I haven't made an edit or anything like that. I am working on a Welcome to Root edit, but the problem is it is going to take a little bit of time just from competition. Right now we are in literally the prime of competition season, so we're going to have to work with that, and eventually we will be sweet, and we'll have a couple of months free to not be competing. So let's go back to when I first competed in the first ever ISA. So there was an ISA comp, I believe it was at Bayswater. The way they used to work was kind of different to how they do now. Essentially we had 5 competitions, and the winner from each one would get a wild card, and then we would have like our nationals, and then 10 people from that would get a wild card. So overall 15 people would get one, and that would take you to Worlds. Now it's a lot different. It's a lot more of a process. I'm not really going to go into that too much, but I am just going to kind of touch on this right now. So it was the ISA then, and I remember I actually came, I believe it was like 2nd place, and Max Peters came first, just itching me out of having the wild card. Basically for me that meant I had to qualify at the nationals to be able to go to World Finals. If I can find my run from that actual event, I'll put it up right now so you can watch it. If not, then we're just going to keep moving to where I have the runs. Anyway, fast forward, unfortunately, before Nationals, I was unable to ride. I believe I had an ankle injury, so I couldn't ride at Nationals to even qualify for Worlds, and that was the first ever Worlds, so it was a big deal. I remember watching on the live stream and just being like, dude, I wish I was there. This sucks. This sucks. But even then, I wasn't really into competing. It was just more the atmosphere and everything like that that I wanted to be involved in. So anyway, that went by, went awesome, and then next time around, I did end up going to Worlds the 2nd year. Unfortunately, I don't even have any runs or anything like that from that because it was so long ago, so I'm just gonna kind of move on. So now dating back to around 2014, 2015, this was the year when the ASA and everything just started, so it became from ISA to ASA, and this is where I started competing a little bit more and started kind of, I wouldn't say taking it more seriously, but I definitely wanted to do better in competition. So I'm gonna play right now for you guys like 4 or something of my runs from different competitions for you guys to look at, and really so you can compare it to when we get to the end of this video and look at my competition runs today. compared to, you know, that 5 years ago. So enjoy those runs, they're gonna be right here. So as you guys can see in those runs, obviously compared to now, tricks aren't absolutely insane, but back then, majority of those tricks were kind of like what you would consider bangers, you know, like there was a flip drop was absolutely crazy back then, and I think now, you know, a flip drop, you don't even look at it twice. Not that it's not a good trick, it's just times have progressed. People are doing, you know, like flip whip drops and whatever else everyone can do now. It's absolutely crazy. So if you have a look and you take notice of a lot of the runs that we did back then, or what I did back then, they're definitely just not the cleanest runs you'll ever see. Do you know what I mean? I'm landing flat on a lot of the things. Some things just don't look smooth or effortless. The style is just not really great. I'm pushing a lot. I don't really know what I'm doing. To be honest, back then I just really winged it. It was more about just go out there and just do whatever kind of comes to your mind. Literally everything I did wasn't really planned out. There was no planning. It was literally just get there. Don't even ride the park before the day. On the day, just make up whatever you possibly can and hope you win, kind of thing. Back then, I reckon on average, I was placing around like 3rd to 5th at all these contests, and I hated it. I think some of the times I did feel like I did get rigged out. Sometimes I would have done a lot better than people there and placed a lot worse, and that is what led me to actually stop competing for about a 2-year time period. I actually didn't compete until the past 6 months or so. So my first competition back, technically, what are you doing? Meow, meow. You're gonna be distracting. Go down there. My first competition back technically was the first ASA of the year, which I think was in November, I wanna say, just before Pro Series. So I'm gonna play my run from that contest.
Cruising his way over the step up. What's he got? Rewind, late whip, rewind, late double. Backs it up with the cleanest bride double whip ever. Nice little transfer from the spine to the back of the... One of the best inverts I've ever seen. Nice little triple finger over step up. Manual movement between the corners. The extension, very nice. Front side like the video. Whip bar air. Matty, you still have 20 seconds left. It's 15 seconds now. Wow, the flail. The optimal player. Matty, 5 seconds left. Nice little four side. Last trick, my man, last trick. And I reckon that will do it. Guys, massive round of applause.
So between the time of that contest and about 4 months prior, I had actually broken my foot and it was not pretty. If you guys haven't seen that video, make sure you go and click like here or wherever it is, go and check it out. It kind of explains it, but essentially I thought the injury was going to take about 4 weeks to heal, ended up taking about 3.5 months or so. So it was a long time off of my scooter. Ended up being, I think it was, ended up taking about 3.5 months or so to properly heal, but I was back on my scooter within about 10, 11 weeks or something like that. And that competition, I had only rode for about 3 days or so before that, and then had to compete on that day. I really wanted to. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do as well as I wanted to, but that was no excuse. I still went out there and did what I could. Just after that, we had the Pro Series events. So we had 3 rounds for the Pro Series. And now this for me was a scary thing because I had just come off an injury. I didn't really feel too prepared, but it was really good for me because it was because it gave me an idea of where I actually need to be to compete. Because it gave me an idea for where I actually need to be competing against the best riders in the world. Because at Pro Series, obviously they're selected riders and they come best riders in the world, and it's an absolutely epic event. It was crazy. It's like 30 or something, it's like 30 or something riders. And if you guys didn't see, I actually ended up placing in the top 10 overall, which was awesome. You can literally see in the competition runs how much I improved from one event to the next event to the last event. And yes, a lot of that is the skate parks we're riding at, but it's also my confidence that built up, and you can see that in the scores. I think in the first one I scored like a 74, the second one I scored like a 78, and then the third one I scored like an 82 or 83. So you can see right there, that's a big improvement throughout the events. And I went from being in, I think, like 18th place to placing in the top 10, which automatically gave me an invite back next year, which for me was absolutely awesome. I was really stoked with that, even though I wish I could go back and change things in certain runs and stuff like that. I felt like I needed to have those runs to get to where I am now, so I can work off of where my weaknesses are and everything like that. I'm gonna play what I can find of those runs now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have all the rounds or whatever it is, but if I have them all, I'll put them on, but you guys can watch that.
Matty Ceravolo! Woo! 45 seconds on the clock.
That's how you say it.
That's it. Double heel, kicky to double whip, straight into a flare,
Huge.
whip to turn down, already improving his first run, double whip to bar over the spine.
Wow.
Whip finger to rewind, finger whip, rewind to rewind finger, sorry.
Just sticking the
Let it go
bike
there.
up.
He's flying around the park now.
Holding on to
You
it.
got frontside blunt on the extension right there. You got 25 seconds left, Matty. Big T-bog over the spine. Flare bar. Back-to-back tricks right here. Bri double. Oh, he's still stuck it and to an under blunt. Oh! Pooh shoots the under blunt. Get back into it, Matty. You got it. You got 10 seconds left.
Fixing his iPod, I think, just there.
Whip front scoot air.
He's got his gym beats on.
That's
Starting on to 9. What's he got? Kicky over the box. Super easy. Flat triple whip. That was a heel tricky. Over the step up, whip the bar air. Still got 30 seconds left, Matty. Over the 5-4. Whip the bar air. Untwist over the screen. Heading towards the step up. Bar stall. Double whip in. 20 seconds left, Matty. In the air. Down, step down. Going down, whipping over that one. Bar spin in. Oh! Just got his shirt caught now, I believe. Got 10 seconds left, Matty. Get it together, keep it going. Got time for a few more tricks, Matty. What you got for us? Feed ball to the next one. I think he was looking for an egro there. Straight to a flat turn down. And that's the whip right now. 30 time. Give it up to Matty. It's rolling inside. Hits the box backwards. That was a kickless to a rewind. I don't think he meant that one, but that was still absolutely insane. Going over the blocks. See that.
So, as you guys can see in those runs, you can see I progressively get better, and you can tell how much more confident I actually get in it as well, which is a really great thing. You know, confidence is so important when you're riding. Confidence is important in any aspect of your life, honestly. But if, you know, you have it in riding, it's going to help you everywhere, so that's really good. From those events, moving on, this is where I noticed a dramatic increase in my performance and everything like that. And I did take a couple of steps to get to this level, and, you know, it's a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's, you know, you got to be dedicated to doing it. I want you guys to see this progression. I'm going to play now some of my better runs, I would say. I went from placing, you know, like 10th place or something like that at Pro Series, or 18th position, to then I won nearly all of our ASAs that we had here in Melbourne, which was, I'm super blessed, you know, very grateful for that. I think it was absolutely amazing. I'm shocked myself. I think it's crazy. I remember the feeling of winning the first one. It was awesome, and it was great because I know I worked very hard for it. But although I know at Pro Series, obviously we had some of the best riders from all around the world, but that being said, I do think that the Melbourne scene is very strong, and it's not easy to compete against these guys. They're absolutely insane. So when I say this, I'm not saying there's a dramatic improvement from 18th to 1st. It's not like that. It's more just, these were my runs here, and that was here. So you guys can check that out. I'm going to play those runs right now, the ones that I think are really good, and yeah.
Here we go, starting off the line, making his way over the box with a kickless kick. Very nice. Straight to a private bar, clean as a vein. He was in the roof, let's look at that step up. Straight to the knee, who's just sparring over the skin the entire life. Then back from the step up to the box, down right there. Making his way over to the new step up with a finger leg, with very nice. Another little inlet on that bank back water. Little whip on that step up back with 20 seconds to go, and he's straight through a full layer bar through. Little 40 down the old step, old snake, sorry. Up in front of that. Transfer's going straight to the middle there. Now you've got 5 seconds left. Wow! Wow! It's flat down there to finish on the front. Here we go. Making his way to step up. What's he got? Back to the triple pass. That is actually ridiculous. Backs it up to the right double there. Oh, massive transfer in the 1 step out. Straight into the most tipped bar at first. He's just backing up that kickless. Oh, it's a ridiculous ride with the spine to step up. Forward bar to step up. Beautiful turn down the extension corner. Big old front, getting straight from front scoop up. Very nice. 15 seconds left, Matty. Bar to step up backwards. Up for backwards. Not Matty. 15 seconds. Back up and flare in. 15 seconds, 5 seconds left, Matty. Backs up with the board slide down the rail. Going to all the time. There. Matty Ceravolo. Here we go. What is he doing with all that speed? Let's find out. Oh, line his way around the hole, maybe he's going to stick up from the 1, 2, 3, back to the what? Whoa! Backs it up with a hit buttercup placement. Straight to a little one from the Z grab over the box back. That's one from the last one. And this time, single whip out of the bowl with a step up. Backs it up with a flare bar 22 disaster, and he rolls away. Actually, flare bar 22 disaster. 10 seconds left, Matty. Nicholas bar and backs up the Brian with there. 5 seconds left. Flare triple, one more trick. And I'm gonna call it time there.
So, as you can see in those runs, a dramatic improvement in not only my style, but my flow. The difficulty and the tricks that I'm doing and the way I put the run together is a lot more planned out and better. If you go back and you watch those runs in comparison to, you know, one of the first runs back in like 2015, 2014 or whatever, you're going to see a big difference. And for me, that's absolutely awesome, because that's kind of where I am right now. I really do enjoy competing, and that's kind of where my head's at, and that is obviously one of the reasons I haven't been uploading as much. So I wanted to make this video just to give a little recap for you guys, so you can kind of like look and see where I kind of started out when I was competing, and if some of you guys are kind of at the same level, and you can see just kind of the way that I've progressed through it all, and it's really awesome. This doesn't necessarily mean you guys have to be at the same level of riding, just in the same kind of area. You know, you guys, if you work hard enough for something, you will progress in it. It's simple as that. It just requires time and effort and, you know, dedication, a bit of dedication. You can get anywhere with a bit of dedication. You can get anywhere with a bit of dedication. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. One thing I want to note before we end it off is that I actually did qualify for Worlds this year. I actually came second place, 1 point off of first place, which was Angus Hughes. Absolutely epic event against, you know, the best riders in Australia. I think there was like 30 odd riders, something like that in the event, which is crazy and super awesome. I came second place. I don't have the trophy here with me, but I will get it and show you guys in another video. Oh, and also I did actually win our Vic titles, which was a couple of months ago, and I'll show you guys the trophy. Check it out, dude. Vic titles. So this is first place in the Vic title. Super stoked to have won this. I'm a competitor, just to let you guys know. Super happy and super blessed to have won this. It was actually a really cool event. But we do have Worlds coming up very soon, from the 5th to the 7th of July. So that's about 2 months time. I actually leave to go to Montpellier in France in literally, I think it's like 10 days. Yeah, 15th of May. So I fly out on the 25th of May. So when you guys see this, it'll probably be, you know, 9-10 days. Because I am competing at FEAST. I'll be competing in the spine ramp and the park event. I'm going to do my absolute best while I'm there. I'm going to bring my camera and everything like that, but I'm going to do my best to be filming and try and document a lot of this as I am going overseas. I love documenting all of it so I can look back at it eventually. And then I will be staying in the UK for a month until Worlds. So I'm going to keep you guys updated. Make sure you are following me on Instagram though, so you can see all of that stuff, because I obviously do post on there a lot more regularly than YouTube. It's a lot easier to do so, whether I actually make posts or it's just on my stories. You guys can see it. I also did make another Instagram where I'm just going to post random things whenever I kind of feel like it, mainly just for anything I have in my camera roll that's like I don't want to post on my main Instagram, but it's not, you know, I don't want to just not ever use it for something. So you guys can follow that. That'll be in the description too. It's just Matty RC. So Matty RCEE. So you guys can go and follow that. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much. Anyone that's still here sticking around, supporting me through all this. As much as I know you guys love the videos and I want to be able to put them out as often as possible, I'm just putting my focus in other areas at the same time. So I'm just going to try and balance that. And when I can upload, I'll upload. If I'm not able to upload, then I'll just have to kind of wait and see until I can upload. But love you guys so much. As I've said a million times, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Knock, knock, let the devil in. Malevolent as I've ever been. Head is spinning, this bed is